During the Soviet era, Africa-Russia relations were limited to a few sub-Saharan and Maghreb nations, including Angola, Ethiopia, Egypt, and Algeria. Today, the tide has changed. Russian flags are popping up during protests in West African countries, with supporters viewing Russia as a savior. This growing influence has reshaped geopolitics across the continent. Russia's President Vladimir Putin is the mastermind behind this rekindled relationship. Initially, Putin showed minimal interest in Africa, choosing to visit a few countries in North and South Africa during his 25-year stint in power. A notable shift came in 2018 during the BRICS summit in Johannesburg. Putin proposed the idea of a Russia-Africa summit, marking a strategic pivot towards increased engagement with the continent. Russia soon became Africa's leading arms supplier. According to the Stockholm International Peace Research Institute, SIPRI, Russia supplies 35% of arms to African nations, ahead of China and the US. The growing presence and activities of the Wagner Group, a Russian private military contractor with deep ties to the Kremlin, have partly facilitated this. Russia's diplomatic efforts in Africa have also intensified. Moscow has long used memory diplomacy in Africa, leveraging positive memories of Soviet support for various African wars of independence against Western colonialists. Despite these efforts, Russia's economic engagement remains limited compared to China, with annual trade figures of $17 billion versus China's $200 billion. Not everyone is cheering Putin's growing influence in Africa. Some sub-Saharan African nations with ties to Western countries are concerned. In northern Nigeria, for example, authorities condemned some protesters for waving Russian flags during demonstrations over economic hardship. Nigeria's military has warned that waving foreign flags could be treated as treason.